Hello, my name is Pete and I'm the British Ambassador to Zimbabwe.
And I'm Folake, the Nubian Queen, the International African.
Now, I've been British Ambassador in Zimbabwe for about 5 months now, and we've been hearing so many stories of fantastic Zimbabweans who are living in Britain doing amazing things, whether that be in science, in the arts, in publishing, accountancy, across the spectrum. Zimbabweans doing great things in Britain. So Folake and I decided that we would host this series of interviews with those Zimbabweans, some of those Zimbabweans, to bring you some of those stories. So each episode we'll sit down with a cup of tea and we'll discuss their career, what they're proud of, any tips and career advice they have for other Zimbabweans across the country.
I'm so excited. Ambassador, who's our guest today?
So today we are meeting with Dr. Phylis Makurunje. She is a high-flying material engineer. She graduated from NUST in Bulawayo with a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. She went on then to do her PhD and will be speaking to us from Bangor in North Wales, a part of the United Kingdom. Bangor is a city, it's a beautiful city, surrounded by the Snowdonia Mountains, but it's also a major university, a major player in space travel. And it's one of the 1,300 organisations in the UK working on space research.
At the moment, Phylis Makurunje leads a team doing material research at Wales Nuclear Future Institute, which is based at the University of Bangor in the UK. And just wait for it, Phylis is doing amazing things as she's working on nuclear energy, on how to power space rockets. And because we're in February, we are celebrating women and girls in science and technology. We are more than excited to have Phylis on our show as one of the amazing women who are trailblazing to inspire some girls.
Phylis, it is fantastic to have you as the very first guest on our show. We'd love to understand a bit more about you, a bit more about your background, where you're from, what your childhood was like, to kick us off.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's great to be here. Well, I grew up liking hands-on technical stuff. I grew up making toy cars, and this was in a small place, a mining place called Alaska in Chinoy. So that's where I spent most of my childhood trying out this technical stuff with my friends. And later on, I went on to study chemical engineering at NUST, which is in Bulawayo, the National University of Science and Technology. And I liked the motto at NUST, which is think in other terms. So that really catapulted me to trying things, pursuing further studies in aerospace materials. So I went on to do my postgraduate studies in aerospace materials at the University of the Witwatersrand of Wits University in Johannesburg. And after that, that's when I got the opportunity to really get into the nuclear part of powering aerospace vehicles, rockets, and the like. And I must say that when I was growing up, my mom really groomed me. She grounded me, and she really taught me a lot of principles. But it is my dad who inspired me and really encouraged me to study engineering. And that was important to get a bit of career guidance from home, because that helped me make that decision. And it has been shown that most women and girls in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, have gotten that encouragement and support from their families to study these subjects. So it's something really important to have parents or family members who encourage girls and women to pursue technical subjects. And also, it has been shown that teachers have a great role to contribute to women and girls studying STEM subjects. Many say, I did this subject because my teacher liked it, or they modeled it great, or my teacher believed in me. So really, this in such an environment is very critical, and that's just what I got, and it helped me in my journey.
Wow, this is quite exciting, Phylis. We hear your work at Bangor University includes you using nuclear energy to power rockets.
Absolutely. We are trying a number of projects, right from powering, from making fuels that are capable of being used in rockets that power vehicles that go to Mars. It's very important because in such trips, they usually take long. We're talking about a trip that takes more than at least 9 months to get people to Mars. Now, the focus right now, the global focus, is to have human flights to Mars. So that is literally sending astronauts to Mars. So, because they are human, they have limitations. You cannot keep humans for that long in space. So you want to shorten, you want to reduce the flight time. So when you use nuclear powered engines, nuclear powered reactors, you really reduce the time of flight, and thereby you're reducing the health effects on astronauts when they have to get to Mars. So many people wonder, why do we even go to Mars? There is a lot of stuff that is important in Mars. There's exploration bits, that is getting the science, knowing what's out there. It's very important. And also the pursuit of technology, the creation of technologies to enable this. And I've just learned of how many technologies that are non-space that were birthed from space technologies. So it's really important just pursuing such endeavors that stretch science and technology. And also we do fuels for powering lunar surface activities. So this is we do this through industrial collaborations. So that is very important as well, that the moon technologies or moon economy is something that is growing, and there is a lot of focus on that in just leveraging moon missions in wider missions, be it deep space or just exploring the moon.
Wow, I mean, it's absolutely incredible, Phylis, and really pushing at the frontiers of the human experience. And I think your examples of how it's relevant to us here on Earth. So the technology that comes out of space, technology that affects our everyday lives, as you say, things like bits of GPS or things we take for granted. So really fascinating. We've been reading about the work you've been doing on sort of these sources of energy, and I understand that some of these tiny fuel cells are like the size of seeds. I mean, is that right? And how have you tested them?
Yes, we've been doing quite a lot of work in that area, and like I said, they're mostly with commercial partners. And so we do a lot of tests, and also we hand over, they also take it from there. But really, what is fascinating is the collaborations that are needed in making such efforts a success. And you'll be, I hope people find it fascinating. I find it fascinating that you have to take a technology through different steps. So whenever there is an idea has to be tested at different levels, and usually the term technological readiness level or levels is used to refer to the readiness of such a technology, like how much have we developed it. It's just like a child. When they're born, they don't have teeth. Sometimes they have little hair, and it takes quite some steps. It takes a process for them to get to a point where they have the teeth, they can see properly. And that is the same with technology ideas. They have to go through maturation levels. So we keep tweaking them, looking at the economic aspects or the financial aspect. Do they make business sense? How can we apply them, the risks we want to de-risk or reduce risks, and it's a lot that goes into making such fuel ready to be used for a space mission. But I must say there's a lot of really interesting stuff that is going on there. About launching nuclear-powered rockets from space to space. So it's really fascinating because most of these missions are looking at deep space stuff, deep space trips. So really, it's a lot of great stuff, and it's just great to be part of it. Yeah,
it is really a lot of great stuff. In 2022, Phylis, we hear a team of Zimbabwean scientists launched a rocket into space. Tell us, what was it like for you as a Zimbabwean? What did this mean to you from a scientific point of view?
Wow, that was really, really big news. I felt proud. And it was like breaking a ceiling, because the moment you launch a satellite, even if it's just one satellite, that level it becomes the floor of the next level. A ceiling level becomes the floor for the next level. So that is great, because now Zimbabwe has joined other African nations that have launched into satellites into space. But what is also important is the opportunities that this opens. More opportunities that are opened from this feat. So you see, now it's about scaling up. So the normal trend would be to look at clusters, having more satellites to join the single satellite, so that you have more data for Earth observation. So these are satellites that have cameras. They look down on Earth and just give information, data on our resources, natural resources, water resources, but also telecommunications. And you can also look at disaster management, disaster in terms of like adverse weather that can create disasters, for example, like tsunamis and the like. So this is very important because it helps manage our everyday lives. We're giving it more technology and more data for analysis, for preparation, and the like.
Wow. I'm completely intrigued by this. Before I ask my question about your quote, I just remembered something about hypersonic, Ambassador, that you'd been talking about earlier.
Is it true that? Yeah, I was really interested to hear about how there's a translation of this technology into hypersonic flight. Is that right?
Yes. So before I got into focusing on nuclear fuel, I was really interested in looking at hypersonic flight. So you find that although the technology has been used mostly in security applications, military applications, there is a commercial application that is very important, that ability to fly passengers from one continent to the next in just 1 hour. It is very important because of health reasons, because when you are on a flight, there's exposure to radiation. So it's important to reduce flight time. That's one reason. And the other one is people are a great resource in terms of you want to have them using their time not just on flight but in what they do best. So when you're on a flight, you're waiting to get to do the business that you're flying for. Imagine reducing that time where you're a little redundant and using it to do a productive stuff. So it's a technology that is really promising. I must say that it has taken long for it to get or to go commercial, but it's for the good reasons. The technology is being tweaked more and more. We've heard of the Concorde, which is the plane the planes that were used, they were owned by the UK and France. So that's the Concorde was very special because it was supersonic, meaning it could travel at a speed that was faster than sound. That is incredible, right? Now, hypersonic flight takes it another notch because, for example, I was just seeing online that Airbus, for example, they have an idea called the Concorde 2.0. And this one now takes the speeds to higher levels. You're talking like more than 4 times the speed of sound.
Wow.
And this is, so I would say let's watch the space and see where this is going. I think there's great potential, and we're going to see this getting commercial in the near future, hopefully.
Wow. I'm just blown away by just listening to you talk, Phylis. We've also heard you say one thing that keeps you up at night is questions like, why can't it be from Africa? And why does it have to be so expensive? Are these questions realistic, do you think?
Well, like, yeah, these questions are really realistic. I love them because I think right now Africa is poised for great jumps in technology. In 2007, when I was in Bulawayo, I bumped into a book fair. And in this book fair, I picked a book or a booklet that had been prepared by the World Bank. And in this booklet, I found a quote that literally changed my thinking. And it went like, the 20th century saw the stunning rise of countries like China, India, and Japan. The 21st century may belong to Africa. It really made me believe it. I believed it. It's possible. And right now, Africa is tipped to be the superpower, it's going to be the superpower of the 21st century. And what does it take to advance technologically? I think it takes the youth to really participate in this, because we know that Africa has a big pool of youth. So imagine that when you have students who are in university, imagine if when they're doing projects, they're not just doing them to get grades, but they're doing them to apply to improve life, to improve our daily lives. They're actually pursuing technologically relevant projects that can be applied, in our everyday life. And that is really important, because it means that everyone is contributing to technological advancement. And maybe let me just share something quickly. When I was doing my final year project at NUST, I took my idea to a lecturer I wanted me to supervise, and that was Dr. Eli Mutetwa. And I took my topic. I was so excited. I said, Dr. Mutetwa, please help me. I would like you to supervise me. He looked at the topic and he said, sorry, I can't supervise you. Why is that? And he goes like, because it's boring. It's not, where is the innovation? Why are you doing this project? What is the new thing that you're trying to do? And so I went and said, go and look for a better topic. I tried again. It wasn't good enough. I tried again. It wasn't good. But that really helped me. It molded me, because it meant that we were making the most of an opportunity to tap into technological advancement, meaning take your work seriously and see how it can change the technology platform in Zimbabwe or anywhere in the world. Like, this is like, let's do meaningful stuff, basically. So I really learned a lot from that lesson.
I love that. Let's do meaningful stuff. Phylis, I think we've been learning a lot from you today, from a girl from Bulawayo all the way in the UK doing amazing things in terms of science. One last question from me before we go. We want to know from you, Phylis, what would you say to a young girl in Zimbabwe, anywhere really in the world, who is over the moon about science, about technology? Haha, see what I did there? And what would you say to them so that they also can find inspiration about rockets, about the moon, about nuclear energy? And sometimes they may be worried they're not good enough to become a Phylis.
Oh, well, I think anyone can be a Phylis and more, really. And I think there is really a lot more out there. And, there's just 4 things that come to mind. The first is purpose, plan, pursue, and persevere. Just having the purpose. What is the question or the area that you like? In your heart of hearts, what is the area that you ask questions about the most? Probably that's your purpose. That's where you see opportunity. That's where you have a question that you probably have an answer to. With your unique giftings, your talents, opportunities around you, potential, and your life experience, it all contributes to that. So finding that area is really important, and then making the plan. So what do you want to, how do you get there? How do you get there? And I always say it's always good to have options when planning, because sometimes even the best of plans don't go as planned. So it's important to have your plan B, plan C. Sometimes you don't get the right the right grades that you were looking at. Sometimes you don't get the right, you don't get admission to the university you wanted, and the like, or different factors can come in. But you have to have that perseverance to pursue the dream, because dreams do come true. So just going for it, being resilient, and having a support system at home, at school, your friends, and models, just looking at people like, hey, I would like to be like this, just having that, those vision boards, they do help. But what I can say is that I love the quote from Kalpana Chawla. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian American to go to the moon as an astronaut, to go to space rather. And she said, the path from dreams to success does exist. May you have the vision to find it, the courage to get onto it, and the perseverance. And I think this is, I find it encouraging for myself, and I hope it encourages other girls and women out there. Like, just go for it. It's possible. If you can conceive it, it's possible. If you can conceive it in your mind, it is possible. Just find the how. Yeah, there is a way. That's what I would say.
It's so great, and you've given us, Phylis, you've given us so much to think about, and I mean, fascinating and inspiring. I mean, for me as a British citizen, it's not only it's really great to hear about the work that Bangor University are doing, and that you, as a eminent Zimbabwean scientist, are doing there in partnership with colleagues in Britain. But also just as real inspiration to have you as our first guest, and just hear what you, Phylis, have been doing, and your energy and enthusiasm, and I hope our listeners are inspired by what you've been saying as we are. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The biggest takeaways are the 4 Ps: plan, purpose, pursue, persevere. And you also said the 21st century might belong to Africa. I think it will belong to Africa. I think it does already belong to Africa. Phylis, we thank you so much. We'll be back next month with another cup of tea and also another great Zimbabwean doing the most in the UK. Totally awe-inspiring. Why don't you join us then, hosted by me, Falaka the Nubian Queen.
And me, Pete, the British Ambassador in Zimbabwe.